Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Fresh Air, and it's Casey out here in nature. And today I'm going to be talking about the 5 tragedies that you might need in your life. What am I talking about? 5 tragedies that on the face look like disaster, but may actually make the difference in your life. As always, thank you for tuning in to Fresh Air, where we ask some of the questions that maybe no one else is asking. And I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I do have a lot of questions. And my hope and my prayer is that these videos will be of great value to you or to someone you know. So feel free to like, subscribe, and to share these videos. And I'll be putting out new content every week, at least once or twice a week, just to make sure that we stay fresh. So one of the things I want to say to you is that right now, if you are lonely, if it feels like you're alone in the world and like no one gets you, no one understands you, no one's in your corner, and you find yourself spending a lot more time by yourself, think about the good side of that. Think about the plus side of it. How can all that time by yourself really benefit you? How can you learn? How can you grow? If you are hurting, how can you start to heal? If you are the kind of person who feels like, you know what, I always need someone around me and I need this and I need the validation, how can that time help you to begin to provide that for yourself? How can that time help you to love yourself, love your environment, suspend judgment, and just begin to grow as a person? How can you download some inspiration that's going to help you? I know loneliness is tough. I've been there. I can tell you firsthand. I can share experiences firsthand of just being completely alone. But in that pressure cooker, if I can call it that, in that ice box, a lot of good can come out of it if you let it. So start to think about how you can use this tragedy for your benefit. So the second thing that loneliness did for me, which I hope it is able to do for you, is that it allowed me enough time to become observant of the people around me, of the environment around me, of the animals, of the systems, of the politics, of everything that was going on around me. Because without the distractions, you actually have an opportunity to observe. And so I was able to observe my environment and the things impacting me and playing on me a little bit more than if I wasn't lonely and if I wasn't spending some time with myself. Now, that is, I think, a phenomenal benefit, because if you don't know your environment, if you don't understand what is impacting you, what's all around you, who are all these people, what are their motives, what are they thinking, what do they like, what do they dislike, the ability to become observant and to become an observer, not a judgmental person, just an observer, to see patterns emerge in your environment and in the people around you. And so that was the second thing that loneliness did for me, is just allowed me to become more observant of all the factors that are impacting me and in the environment within which I live, and the people who admittedly are having an influence or an impact on my life. And if you really think about that, knowing how to spend some time away just in observer mode, I think is incredibly valuable, because it's really hard to make an impact or to change something that you don't understand. It's really hard to suspend judgment if you don't understand people and if you don't understand their motives. it's really hard to move forward to whatever it is that you want to move forward to if you have no understanding of the natural environment. And so being lonely, spending that time by myself, definitely allowed me to learn about my environment and actually to develop a love for it, and to develop a love for nature, and to develop a love for people, and to develop just love in general. Not always feeling like I'm sort of under a pressure cooker, always pressured by someone else. So that's the second thing that the tragedy of loneliness did for me. And the third thing that I'll talk about, the third thing that loneliness did for me, and this is probably the biggest one, is it allowed me to observe myself. Now, why is that so important? Sort of like number two, and even more important than number two, than knowing your environment, it is learning to know and better understand yourself. You think you know yourself, you think you understand your motives, you think you are smart, you think you're wise, you think you're above certain things. If you're like me, before I learned to spend some time away and observe and get to know myself, I thought I was rational. I thought I was smart. I thought I was wise. I thought I was all these wonderful things. And I came to realize that I was not as smart as I thought I was. I was not as good as I thought I was. I was not as logical. That's a big one. I was not at all as logical as I thought I was. So being lonely, spending time by myself, allowed me to really get to know, who am I? Like, what am I about? What makes me tick? What makes me angry? What makes me sad? What makes me want to do my best? What makes me want to shrink back and not do anything? That is incredibly powerful. And in most cases, I'm not saying in all cases, but in most cases, as I've seen, that helps you. Being away, being apart, being lonely, being by yourself really helps you to know yourself. So again, we're talking about the 5 tragedies that I experienced in life that made my life better. And loneliness definitely at number 2 is big on the list. Now, the third tragedy that I've experienced in my life that made my life better is actually failure. Failure. Yes, I said failure. Because failure has within it some really, really important seeds that can help you. In fact, I have said, and I'll put it as a quotable this week, that the opposite of success, in my opinion, is not failure. The opposite of success is inactivity or neglecting to do something. That, my friends, is the opposite of success, in my opinion. You could certainly have your own opinion, and you may have a different view. If you do, comment. I'd love to hear your question to what I'm telling you here. But I really want to share with you how beneficial failure actually is, and what failure really is, if you really start to think about it. Think about this. What if a father or a mother who's teaching a kid something decides the first time this kid tries this thing and fails at it, that's it, it's over, we'll never do this again, pack it up, little Timmy or little Sue is just not going to do anything with their lives, they're done. We're never going to have them try to talk again, or we're never going to try to have them walk again, or we're never going to try to have them try to do anything. The reality is, if you stop moving, if you stop acting, if you stop doing because you've had a failure, then really what's damaging to you is not so much the failure that you had, but the fact that you stopped doing things. So failure, I want you to reinterpret. I hope you can get from what I'm saying and reinterpret failure for yourself and know that failure is really just a learning experience. failure is really just another way of teaching yourself how to get better. What do I mean by that? And I'll share with you. I have failed more than I've succeeded. I have failed 100 times more than I have succeeded. So why then can I still move forward? Can I still do things? The reality is, most of us as humans will spend a lot of time failing at a lot of things. And so if you start to internalize that and feel like failure or a failure is the end, or it means you're not good, or you're done, or you can't do anything, that is when it's going to be bad for you. But reinterpret failure. It's tragedy. I know it. I felt it. I've failed at a lot of things. I've tried to start a business, and I failed abysmally at one of the businesses I tried to start. I failed in relationships. I failed at expressing myself in a lot of cases. I failed at a lot of things. But I'm going to tell you right now that those failures, those tough times, those difficulties actually helped to create resilience. They helped me create new knowledge. They helped me figure out some ways that just weren't going to work. And by doing that, by refusing to stop, by refusing to accept that as the end, you will be able to overcome whatever is hurting you. And in fact, I'll let you in on a little secret. Those failures, those difficulties, those things that felt like, this is just so awful and my life is ruined, those things gave me the platform, they gave me the knowledge, they gave me the experiences that now have created a much, much better life. So the third tragedy that made my life better and that you might be going through right now is failure. I don't care what it is. It could be failing in a business, could be failing in a school or a class, could be failing in a relationship, it could be failing at a diet, could be failing at going to the gym. Don't stop. Don't let a temporary failure become a permanent state of affairs for you. Don't do it. Get up, brush it off, learn from it. Every single failure is a phenomenal, I can't say this with enough stress, is a phenomenal learning experience that can help you become 100 times better. If you didn't get it today, if this week, if this month, if this year didn't go well for you and you feel like you failed at a bunch of things, or you failed at that one thing that you wanted so bad to do, or maybe you failed at a relationship, I don't know what it is. I can tell you right now, use it to your benefit. It's a learning experience. You will never be the same if you take those failures and reinterpret them as benefits to yourself and to others. Use the time. Go back and examine it. Figure out why it didn't work and use that information in your next try. But please don't take up inactivity. Don't fall back. Don't get lazy. Don't resign yourself to the idea that you can't do it. Throw that out the window. Get up, brush yourself off, and try again. Retweak it. Tweak it a little bit. Sometimes it just means that you need to tweak it. You need to tweak it. Try again. Do a little better. Learn from it. But I'm telling you, failure is a tragedy that can help you and that can truly, truly benefit you if you know and recognize what it truly is. So this is number 3 on the 5 tragedies that made my life better. Failure is definitely one of them. This has been Casey with another episode of Fresh Air, alternate interpretations of reality. I hope you found this recording useful, and I encourage you, if you do, please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel where I will upload new content every week. Thank you.